What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one, I wanted to give you guys a very quick update on the markets, talk about my warning about how this might end up panning out for today. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you are guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. The offer ends very soon in just about 8 days. Anyways, let's talk about the market. So, I want to mention the fact that SPY has had a tendency of dipping in the mornings only to get bought back up at the end of the day for the last about 3 days, or 3 of the last 4 days. I would say it that way. In this case, there's a possibility we do get a small dip upon open only to get bought back up. But whether or not we get a bigger move, whether it's a dump or a big pump, this is going to depend on some data that's coming out. Now, today is Friday, November 22nd, 2024. Just know that at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the S&P Global Composite Manufacturing and Services PMI reports. So look for some volatility once this data comes out at that time, 15 minutes after market open. Then at 30 minutes after market open at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we also have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report coming out. So this data from Michigan could cause some volatility. So look for some volatility 15 minutes and 30 minutes after market open, and we'll see what this leads to. In terms of news about the market's still holding up quite decently. It's very choppy, at least right now. And with that being said, I haven't really seen anything else that's too crazy. I am seeing some talk about high interest rates, at least for credit cards. But besides that, there's not really much that's going on. There's been a lot of talk about Bitcoin approaching the 100,000 area. And I think that's very huge news. We came very close so far. So we'll see how it goes. And then I want to talk about this. So today is November 22nd, right? We have a little bit over 300,000 calls expiring and over 400,000 puts expiring for a 1.28 puts to call ratio. Now, in my opinion, I do want to give you guys a warning that because the puts to call option ratio is very balanced, there might be high volatility for the first 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes of market open. We might still get that. But as time goes on, I do expect a lot of chop. I think they might start to chop things around after the first 30 minutes of market open. That might make it very hard to be trading options. So if you're holding options or anything like that, you want to be a little bit careful because the market is just very manipulated. And this could be the market makers' ploy to just hurt option premiums and make money on their end. So, from what I think is going to happen is this: I anticipate that the market may see a little bit of a dip upon open. We might see a small dip on SPY to grab liquidity around 591. Then we could get bought back up, and then we're going to be reacting to our big PMI report. Does it cause a big dip back down to 589? Do we just dip and then bounce and start pushing up higher for these imbalances for 595 plus? It all depends. We are range bound during the pre-markets. So I think that there's going to be a lot of volatility the first 15 minutes. We could dip and then bounce and try to make our way back up to 595 after touching 591. But that's going to be our range for now. So a dip and a bounce. And then we might see a lot of consolidation after that, a lot of chop just to hurt premiums. That seems like the most likely possibility in my opinion. It is a Friday. Remember, Fridays are oftentimes full of manipulation. We could dip back down for about 59.40 before getting a bounce back up, just consolidate on ES. That's going to be the most likely case in my opinion. We need to break past 59.80 to turn back up. Otherwise, I just see us shopping around for a bit longer. So look for that dip to 59.40 and then a bounce and just a lot of sideways price action for now. For Nvidia is very choppy right now as well. We could retest 144, then rebound off of that to about 148 and just continue to trade sideways within this range. I'm not really seeing a whole lot that's going on, so just keep that in mind. Nvidia just remains range bound for the most part. Might see a dip and a bounce in an attempt to get back up to 148, but then I do see a lot of chop as time goes on because of the options chain. For Bitcoin, we pushed very nicely to about 99,500, coming very close to our $100,000 target. We dipped back down to about 97,500. Now we're getting bought back up again. We'll see if Bitcoin could try to reclaim 99,000. If not, we could be on our way back down to the lower support. Now, just know this: as long as we don't lose our 20 EMA at 96,000, as long as we're above that, we are bullish. If we lose that, we could turn down a little bit. I don't think that's happening yet. So we'll have to see how well Bitcoin holds up above 96,000. It's trying to see buyers defend 97,500, so it might attempt to push closer to 99,000 again, but we'll have to see how it goes. As far as Tesla goes, Tesla is very range bound. We tend to reject off 346 and get bought back up around 337. That's our new support at the 20 EMA. I think we're forming a very nice pennant right here, so we're getting tighter and tighter and tighter. There's going to be a big move coming out once we break out. So we're waiting for that moment to come. Otherwise, we're just range bound. For other factors out there, we have NQ. This is just trading sideways within a range. We have 20,800 as our resistance and like 20,700 as our support. We're going to likely just chop around that range for some time. And we'll have to see what the reaction is after PMI. So we're just waiting for that. For the QQQ, we might dip to about 503 and then attempt to rebound. And we'll see if this continues to push. We still have that gap to fill at 508. So there might be a small dip in the morning before a bounce attempt. We'll see if the PMI report launches us higher. If it does, and we break past 506, we're looking for 508 as our target on the QQQ, as this could push higher. And by the way, about SPY, if we do get a dip in the morning, this could also start pushing later on during the day, as the chart does look more bullish. But then this depends on the reaction after PMI. So just keep that in mind. Apple is doing a good job at holding up. I think that Apple is just going to chop around a bit. We could retest 228 and try to rebound. So give that a little bit more time to develop as well. Might be a lot of choppy price action, but then it could attempt to rebound back up to 230. So 230 to 228 is going to likely see a lot of sideways price action. Keep that in mind. With IWM, we look more bullish. We could be trying to get back up for the 236 area. We could dip back down for 235 before it tries to rebound. So keep that in mind, especially as we have an inverse head and shoulders. So I think there's a good chance this does attempt to push higher, but the IWM might dip a little bit before it attempts to push higher. So 234 could be retested before it tries to bounce for the 236s. So give this the time it needs. For coin is looking very interesting. We're trying to hold 289 as our main support. That's our 50 EMA. If that fails us, we're looking for a dip all the way down towards 275. And if we hold this, we could attempt to rebound for 308. This is looking a little bit weaker here, so we'll have to see if 289 holds or not. If it doesn't, there's going to be a dip coming, so just keep that in mind about coin. For Amazon, we're going to try to push for 200. If that breaks, we're looking for 202. If we don't break past 200 or hold above it, though, we could reject and make our way back down to 194. But look for a push upon open for 200. We'll have to see if we can hold above that or not. I think Meta is going to try to push for 564. If we break that, we're looking for 568. So look for an attempt to push upon open, and we'll see if you reject or not. Microsoft looks a little bit weaker, though. This, unfortunately, might be on its way back down closer to like 410. So it didn't do a good job at holding up here. It's still looking kind of lackluster compared to the markets and its other tech stocks. And then Google's on a bit of a downtrend. It might dip closer to some balance. I think we're going to be range bound between 165 and then 168, trading sideways for now. So we're waiting for this big move. So as far as the market goes, I think the market has more upside potential. We could see a little dip upon open before we try to continue to push. The chart does look more bullish in terms of the trend, but just keep this in mind, guys. Whether or not we get a big move is going to depend on this data. So get ready for some volatility 15 minutes and 30 minutes after market open. So heed my warning about that. And then as time goes on, there might be a little bit more chop that comes like after the first 30 minutes of market open because of the option premiums. So keep that in mind, guys. It's a Friday. Fridays are oftentimes full of manipulation. And with that being said, I just want to say I really appreciate you guys so much for listening. Please have a great rest of your days. I will be back hopefully in a couple of hours to give you guys more insights and updates about what I see panning out for the charts. Until then, enjoy what life has to offer. Watch your levels very, very closely. And I'll be back very, very soon for another update. Thank you for listening and peace out.